Hello, this is Gary the Bomber Bombalicki, and here's another edition of the Shooting Star program. In a moment, Lou Krupkin, Blowback Laser Trainer's tactical consultant. Well, we're back with another edition of Blowback Laser Trainer's Shooting Star program, and with me is the insane Daryl Wayne, our executive producer extraordinaire. Hello, Daryl.
Greetings, Gary. I'm happy and fortunate to be here for program number 2.
We've had a great response from our last program, so thank you for doing such a good job on that.
Well, the interesting and informative comes from you, so take it away.
Daryl and I have been doing radio for how many years now, Daryl?
Since 1985. And I need an abacus to figure that out.
Right. So, we have a good time doing this, but it's also to be informative and to let all you folks know what's going on out there in the world of Blowback Laser Trainer and some of the folks that we have working with us. And on the phone, we have Lou Krupkin. And Lou is Blowback Laser Trainer's tactical consultant. Hello, Lou. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? I'm
doing great. And Lou, you're in New Jersey. Is that correct?
I sure am.
Lou and I were just together in Las Vegas for the SHOT Show, and I think that was a huge success. What we want to do now is have Lou tell you a little bit about himself and how he came about finding the Blowback Laser Trainer, and then Lou's going to tell us how he uses the Blowback Laser Trainer. So, Lou, how did you find us?
Okay, very, very interesting. So my background a little bit, I grew up in New Jersey. When I was about 18, just about 18 years old, I went to Israel for a year and decided to stay for a while. While I was there, I actually got drafted into the Israeli army, spent 3 years in the army, and after that I worked in security before coming back to the U.S. So I did get a lot of experience there. With that, I'm actually working with an organization called Caliber 3. Caliber 3 is the premier counterterror and security academy in Israel. I'm kind of representing them here in the U.S., and they are doing training in tactical firearms, counterterrorism, and Krav Maga. So I myself, besides my full-time job, I'm teaching Krav Maga and tactical firearms.
Can you explain to us a little bit about Krav Maga? Because, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that don't know what that is.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm very surprised how often people do know what it is when I don't expect it. But Krav Maga is the self-defense system that we teach in the Israeli army, the Israeli police, and to civilians, and the popularity has grown throughout the world. The concept is it's about survival, and if you're, God forbid a million times in a situation and you have to survive, it's about winning or losing. If you win, you live. If you lose, you can die. So Krav Maga is very effective. It's similar to a martial art, but it's a little bit different. That's what I'm teaching. So one day I was looking in a magazine and I saw probably an article, maybe a little ad, but really no contact information about the Blowback Laser Trainer. So I said, I have to contact them. Literally within 4 or 5 minutes I had the contact information, and that's when I reached out to you, Gary. And I think you were surprised that I was able to find you.
I was, because our website wasn't even working yet. It was amazing how you found us, though.
That's my background, having served in the Israeli army and worked in security over there.
Now, recently, you just received the award in New York City. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. That's called the Astor Award, and I received the Platinum Award for expertise in Homeland Security. Astor is American Security Today. It's a really great magazine. It's an online magazine, worthwhile for everyone to check out.
Well, that's really a great honor.
Yep, I definitely felt honored. And my life is all about keeping people in organizations safe, whether they're online or standing in a line. The reason I'm saying that is my full-time profession. I'm also working in the cybersecurity world, so keeping people safe online, people in organizations. And then obviously training, I train military, police, and civilians on tactical firearms and Krav Maga.
So now that you've discovered the Blowback Laser Trainer, the question is, how do you have you incorporated it into your training? And for yourself, how have you found that the Blowback Laser Trainer tool, so to speak, has improved your shooting abilities?
First of all, it's actually, I know we're talking about 30% improvement. Sometimes I think it's even more than that. So I love to go to the range. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to go every day. I might go typically, in fact, I went on Sunday, but I go, once, twice, 3 times a month typically. Other times I do take people to the range and I'm training at the range, but I like to go more often. Unfortunately, I can't. Having the Blowback Laser Trainer here at my house, I'm able to train, and I typically train almost every day. A lot of times, similar when I go skiing. One day I said, let me try snowboarding, and I was about to try it, and I said, you know what, I don't want to give up a day of skiing because I'm so good at skiing, and I've never snowboarded before. So I didn't want to waste my day trying to learn how to snowboard. Similar to this. So when I'm at the range, I don't play around. I don't make any changes, really. I'm just shooting. However, since I've gotten the Blowback Laser Trainer, now that I'm at home and I could shoot, sometimes 10 minutes a day, sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours, I'm actually able to improve and make little changes. One thing I've noticed, normally I throw my arms out straight when I'm firing. Since I've been using this, I started to turn my left arm up a little bit, and it holds the gun much steadier. Since I've been doing that, when I went to the range on Sunday, I noticed I was definitely much more accurate.
You know what? That's really great to hear, because you were mentioning to me that the Blowback Laser Trainer allows you to try different methods of holding the gun instead of worrying about trying to do that at the range when you're firing live ammo down range.
Exactly. And really, I consider this to be supplemental to training at the range. You still want to go to the range sometimes and fire live fire, but by the same token, I could do so much more at home with it. In fact, here in my basement, where I have a little Krav Maga studio, I've actually developed a shooting range to the point where I actually have built little rooms out of really cardboard, so I could enter a room and clear a room, and that's what I'm actually teaching people here at the house. Something I could never do, obviously, with a real gun.
Well, Daryl, one of the things that Lou does is, these pop-ups that you see at conventions or trade shows where people have the pop-up and it has their name on it and stuff like that, and then they pull it down, like a banner type of pop-up.
Sure.
So what Lou does is he paints them, and he makes them into, like, obstacles, right, Lou?
Yep, exactly. So I have those. I'm actually using boxes now, so I'm building walls out of boxes so it could easily be moved. These banners also, so one side it's actually a banner that I use, but the other side I actually have posters and different painting things on it to make it look like a wall. So it's pretty incredible, and this is going on in my basement.
That's a creative way of doing it.
Absolutely.
We were talking on our last program about how airport police were using our product, and as a matter of fact, we sold more to airport police today, and I was asking them, well, why are you using the product? And they were telling me that simunitions are very dirty. They leave a lot of cleanup, and they could cause damage. And so then they went to airsoft guns, and airsoft, when it hits the wall, it can leave a dent or even a hole in the wall from firing airsoft pistols for training.
Absolutely. So I also have been using airsoft even in the basement too, and I stopped using it really since I've been using the Blowback Laser Trainer. I'm still cleaning up these little pellets all over the floor. I sweep, I vacuum. Every day I'm finding more, though.
Well, one of my friends told me that his son was shooting airsoft in his backyard, and that was 15 years ago, and to this day, he's still finding airsoft pellets.
Yeah, so this is great. I mean, what I really like about the product, number one, there's no mess. Number two, you could use it really anywhere, anytime. Number three, and when I first saw it, and I was really insistent about before I was going to start implementing this, that it was really going to be accurate, feel like a real gun. In Israel, the way we actually shoot, most of the units, the police department, everyone is really carrying a handgun, no bullet in the chamber. And this is called the Israeli point and shoot method. A lot of reasons for that. Number one and key is safety. Typically, we draw the weapon out of the holster, bring it up in front of us where our other hand is waiting, and rack. By learning how to do that and practicing, it really becomes muscle memory, and it really doesn't take any longer, maybe a hundredth of a second longer than actually pulling out a weapon with a bullet in the chamber. But again, it's much safer, and I've noticed it to be much more accurate. So what I like about this, a lot of other weapons that I've tried, they don't rack. When I'm talking about training weapons. This you could actually rack it, and again, it's just very realistic.
Well, it really is, and myself shooting the Blowback Laser Trainer, I could say now at least 18,000 times in testing. It does have a good impact, and the tool will wear you out. It's not a toy.
Yeah, it's definitely not a toy.
What I want to tell everybody right now is that if you want to get one of your own Blowback Laser Trainers, all you have to do is go to our website at blowbacklasertrainer.com. That's blowbacklasertrainer.com, and you could get your very own Blowback Laser Trainer. And there's all kinds of accessories in there. There's extra magazines. There's our CO2s. Now you can buy extra targets or extra guns aside from the kit itself. But a lot of folks like to buy extra magazines because they can simulate actual magazine change out. And you do that in your training, don't you, Lou?
Absolutely. That's the way we train in Israel in a Caliber 3. And incidentally, I'm really trying to get this implemented now. Caliber 3 is evaluating the product. So far, they're loving everything they've seen. And I have a feeling that this will be we'll be selling this in Israel soon.
We are selling these internationally already in Mexico and Europe and in Asia and in Canada. The thing I want to ask you about is just recently, you ran into a situation where you were at a convention and someone was talking to you about the aspects of using the Blowback Laser Trainer in the courtroom. You want to touch on that for a moment?
Okay. I was at a meeting. I actually met with a lawyer, and again, I was talking about other things, my other profession, but as we were talking, he had been to Caliber 3 before, and I said, wait a minute, I have to tell you about this great product. Told him all about it, and he himself is doing a lot of research for special court cases that he's involved in where handguns are involved. Typically people using it legally, but possibly getting into trouble. And he's using this to simulate as opposed to bringing a real handgun into the court, which is definitely frowned upon. He's able to bring the Blowback Laser Trainer into court now and do a demonstration using that. So that's something that we had never heard of before, but he's very, very interested in this. I think it's a new market.
Well, I think so too. I mean, it's amazing. Every day that something new comes up on why people are looking to use this as a trainer. Now, here's a situation that I just came upon the other day, and that happens to be, I was talking to a police academy in the state of New Jersey, by the way, who has a $150,000 system called FAT, and it's made by Megget Systems. And Daryl would know that because they're also very involved in the aerospace industry, and Daryl is a former CEO and executive in the aerospace business. So they developed this $150,000 trainer. When I talked with them about our product, they said, well, your product is not as good as ours because, our product's superior. And I said, yeah, but a lot of law enforcement agencies that we work with don't have the $150,000 plus budget to have a system like yours, assign a room to, and set up to have this simulated training system. Then what I said is, by the way, can you put that system in a briefcase? And he said, well,
absolutely.
No. And I said, well, you could put ours in a briefcase and you can use it anywhere, churches, hallways, buses, cars, classrooms, et cetera, et cetera. And my question to you, Lou, is you are certified on several simulators. Where do you see the difference between using a simulator in getting your training and actually being in the spot itself, running down the hallway and stuff like that, simulating training? What's your thought on all that?
Okay, again, so I really see an advantage to both. I mean, if you have $150,000 to buy that system or $30,000 to buy a less expensive system, great. But when you have people there training, they need still a range master or somebody certified to be there with them at all times while they're using it. They need to turn the device on, the system on, whereas the Blowback Laser Trainer, you could just take it out, and even an agency or a range that has the $150,000 system, they could give these guns, the Blowback Laser Trainer, to people to take home, to try at home, to use at home, to train at home. Also, as you mentioned, in the hallway, you can't move this $150,000 system throughout your range or throughout your department. This, you could actually do it, and you could actually use it in different rooms. So besides having a simulated scenario up on a screen, now you're really able to go into a room, and that's what I'm doing here at my house.
On an average week, I talked about 30 to 40 police chiefs, lieutenants, sergeants, commanders that are in the law enforcement area. They're telling me that they want to use the Blowback Laser Trainer so that if someone is having a hard time qualifying, they can hand them this tool, the Blowback Laser Trainer, and they can go home and practice so when they come back in the morning, they can give it another shot.
No pun intended, absolutely.
No, we're not funny here on this program.
Other thing is, when you look at new recruits, probably most of them have never shot a gun in their life, and now they're going to the police academy. If my son were going to police academy, I would buy him this as a gift before he went. Again, same thing with the military. As a kid, I used to shoot at summer camps, but when I went into the Army, I was not all that experienced shooting an M16 or a Galil or a Tavor at that point. Having one of these beforehand, or even while you're in it, when you're on vacation, to be able to shoot, it's amazing. It gives you that experience.
And even though I'm an experienced shooter, and so are you, I mean, I just find it to be nice to be able to practice at my own pace without having to worry about taking up the time of my day and someone else standing behind me.
Absolutely. Also, when I go to the range and I'm shooting, people are looking at me and how I'm doing and how I'm qualifying. At home, I'm able to do it and nobody's watching. I sometimes do a little better when I'm at home by myself.
Are you shy, Lou?
A little bit. Gun shy. Other thing I really want to bring up that's very, very important, even to Caliber 3, where we're training over 150,000 professionals every year. We have about 30,000 tourists there. They come from all over the world. A lot of laws and regulations in Israel, too, with gun control. And children below, I forget what age, it might be 14, are really not allowed to fire a live gun. So they're doing paintball. Well, this is going to be an excellent addition. Kids are actually going to be able to fire what's really much more realistic, more like a real gun. So it's great for children. It's great to explain safety and to give them that experience. When you have a kid who sees a gun laying on somebody's table, they're going to pick it up because they're curious, and that's dangerous. First of all, it shouldn't be sitting on a table. But again, if you teach gun safety using a product like the Blowback Laser Trainer, kids are going to be much more aware and really understand the safety and the dangers of a weapon, and they'll learn how to respect it.
That's correct. And you know what? You can have your own Blowback Laser Trainer by going to blowbacklasertrainer.com, blowbacklasertrainer.com, and see all the different products that we have in relation to the Blowback Laser Trainer. One last thing, Lou, to end our conversation, I want to talk about Cabo. Cabo, the canine dog. Tell us about Cabo and how would you use the Blowback Laser Trainer along with your canine companion?
Okay, so I happen to be a certified police canine handler. I have a beautiful yellow lab named Cabo, and she does narcotics detection. Obviously, it's kind of interesting. When I pull out a gun and she's there, she will bark and jump and try to knock it out of my hand. The reason she does that, I actually trained her to do that in the event where I'm somewhere and somebody does pull out a gun. She gives that advance warning, and she'll take it out of their hand. With the Blowback Laser Trainer, though, I've been training her here down in the basement as well, pulling out the gun. So now she knows not to take it from me, not to try and take it from me. She'll walk right alongside me, always staying on the left side. When I have a gun on, pulled out, she's on my left. If I start to turn, she stays right to my left and doesn't move. She'll never go to the right side, knowing that the gun is on the right side. And much easier to train with the Blowback Laser Trainer than a real gun.
So you see this as an advantage to canine units that are training their new dogs.
Absolutely.
And with the recoil, there is about 104 dB that sounds off every time you pull the trigger.
Yeah, and that's really enough for them to get used to. And I've actually brought my dog to one range where we had a SWAT team training, and they were using, obviously, live ammunition and everything. So my dog is not gun shy. She respects the sounds of guns. It doesn't frighten her. But again, when she sees a gun pulled out, she'll let me know. And the good thing about that is somebody's behind me and pulls out a gun, she knows before I do.
Well, Lou, you know what? We really appreciate you coming on the program. This has been a great chat, and we want you to come back again so that we can hear some progress in some of the things that you're doing in regards to the Blowback Laser Trainer and some of your training in Israel. As a matter of fact, we may be talking to the Colonel here sometime in the very near future.
Yes, he'll be in the U.S. He's coming in about 2 weeks, and he's looking forward to meeting you.
And I'm looking forward to meeting him. Thanks a lot, Lou, for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I guess this wraps up another edition of the Blowback Laser Trainer Shooting Stars Show with Gary the Bomber Bombalicki, and along with our executive producer, the insane Daryl Wayne. And we're going to be back next week with another edition of this program, and hopefully you'll learn a lot about the Blowback Laser Trainer. BlowbackLaserTrainer.com, folks.